What's going on, YouTubers, gamers and fellow hobbyists out there? Welcome to P&Q, the question and answer series, where you get to ask me questions or put comments to me and then I respond to you the following week. Now you can do this one of, now up until today there were 5 ways. I know what you're thinking, oh, he's not adding more, is it? No, I'm taking one away. There are 4 ways. You can ask a question of me or put a comment to me. Number 1, the most common way. Put your comment or questions down in the comment sections below. Obviously that only works if you're using this on minimize, otherwise it makes no sense at all. But in the comment section below. 2, you can email me directly at miniwarzone@gmail.com and you will get an anonymous response, and that is sometimes used by people. It depends on the question really, if it's a sensitive area or whatever. 3, you can make a video yourself, and then what this is then turns into is a kind of video response, I suppose. So if you ask a question at there used to be a thing last year, it used to be quite common. People did them, and I might start mine up again later this year, who knows, where you ask a question on a weekly basis or monthly or whatever, and then people respond to you. So I answer that there as well. Or if we meet in person and an interesting topic should arise, then I'll put that here as well. I'm cutting out the social media aspect of it now because I tend to, what I've found is I answer people there and then on social media, otherwise it appears like kind of rude, and I forget then to put them into here, so it's a pointless exercise. So 4 ways of contacting me. Okay, right, that said, I've got quite a few questions this week. Thank you to Nick from the Edic Beer 40k channel and the Edic Beer 40k Wargamers Unification group. Thank you, Nick, for asking for some questions for me. That was fantastic. I don't have any emails, and I haven't had any personal questions come up. And I've not seen any videos. So it's just the comments or questions from last week. Now, what I'm going to do, though, I've got some dice here. I should have brought a pen with me. I'm not going to ask them in order. I'm going to ask the simple ones first and then come on to the longer ones later, because to get through it for flow. So I will start with William Kuby, who says, sounds good to me, we'll CF post. And yes, I will continue posting these for a while yet, so don't worry. I was merely saying, if it gets quiet and I stop getting questions, and I've always said, if I don't get any questions, I'll make up a question and a topic and talk about that. But if that happens week after week, I will consider probably ending the series. But I'd like to end the series on a significant number. I mean, last week was 190, I believe, episode 190. That's 190 weeks without fail. This series has gone out. So I'm quite proud of that. So, yeah, thank you for your comment. I'll do the last one here. All right. Nurgling says, hi, mate. What's your favourite miniature currently? I find I change my favourites all the time as I discover new stuff. Well, my favourite at the moment is Magnus the Red. One of the models I got for my birthday recently. He's just awesome. I'm so enjoying painting him, and I'm looking at him now, obviously. He's about halfway through at the moment, so there will be a showcase when he's all finished, rest assured. You may see updates on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. I post updates on there, picture updates of how he's progressing. If you check out my Instagram, Twitter or Facebook, you'll see those. But yeah, Magnus the Red for sure. Right, so I'm kind of almost working backwards with these. Black Country Wargaming asks, what are your go-to paints? As in, which ones do you use the most often and by which manufacturers? Well, Citadel are the ones I use the most. followed closely by Vallejo, or however you want to pronounce it. Depends on your pronunciation, how correct you want to be. So I call him Vallejo. We'll call him Vallejo for simplicity's sake. So Citadel Vallejo, although I do have other ones that I have. Coat d'Arms, P3 paints are probably a close third favourite of mine, but I just don't have enough in quantity of those. I mean, I've got a fair few, but not enough to say I use them, often. So, Coat d'Arms, war paints, Createx, but there's like sporadic use. So, yeah, but I am branching out. If I see stuff and I think, that looks quite good, I'll give it a go, I'll try it. But Citadel, Vallejo and P3, the top three for me. Right, that's those two sheets out of the way. I'm going to come back to these sheets here and start from the beginning now. So coming to Mr. Idic Beer, who says, nice video, no need to move the adverts, I was just curious and your explanation brings a fair point. Now, we were talking about adverts placed in the video, and Nick was curious as to why I had the first ad at, he thought it was about a minute, but it is actually 25 seconds in. And that was purely because that was what was recommended to me. But I am in the process of, I'm experimenting with that, so I'm bringing them forward. I have found in the past that ones at the start don't get the views, but like I say, I'm experimenting at the moment, so you'll see a variety. And then what I'll do is I'll probably experiment for a while, possibly the rest of this year, and then I'll look at the analytics and see what works, what doesn't. So that's what I'll do there. Right, he says, as a child, my parents used to take me to Devon, Sandy Bay. I know that one. Often. I always remember the ice creams the most. Sandy Bay specials. Devon ice cream topped with Devon cream. Oh boy, I want one now. Haha. Anyway, what memories of your childhood holidays stand out for you? And it's funny you should say that, because I have memories of seaside resorts. I mean, Devon, we do have nice ice cream, you've got to admit. With cream as well. Yeah, excellent. Furlston, there's a beach called Furlston that stands out for me as childhood, because when we used to go there when I was a young kid, used to get those spades. Now most kids would be building sandcastles and that kind of thing on the beach, but no, not me. I'd be digging a hole deeper and deeper and deeper until it was deeper than me in the beach, right in the sand. This is true. That's what I used to do. Nearly every time we went there, I'd dig a hole, just dig, I find that in adulthood, I'm still digging holes for myself. So that's one. Another one I have fond of memory is going to Carlisle Bay in Cornwall, where the Cornwall Coliseum is and all that. Or used to be. It's no longer there, sadly. That's where I watched my first concert. Actually, I saw Iron Maiden at the Cornwall Coliseum, but it's no longer there, sadly. But used to go there anyway, Carlisle Bay, and used to have the most fantastic, for the time, arcade you could imagine. And my parents, or my dad, would just give me a bag full of 10p's and 50p's and that he'd been saving for the year in a jar or whatever, I suppose. I don't know. I'm guessing here. You say, right, off you go. Take your time. I suppose he's wanting quality time with my mum to spend in there, because I was always hanging around and that. So, get rid of the kid. Go play Space Invaders or whatever you want to, spend the money on. But basically, that's what he did. And it was real arcade. For the time, do you remember Space Invaders, Gorf and Pac-Man and those big ones that you'd sit in and with the huge joysticks? And, I'd spend so much time on those arcade games. Phoenix, things like that. Just brilliant. Yeah. So that's childhood memories. It's holidays at stand up. Oh, and there was another one. We went camping once. Not camping, in a camper van at a camping site, but it just poured with rain night after night, and it was huge thunderstorms like nearly all week. And we had to move from the top of this hill down to the bottom because it was getting washed away. It was quite hilarious, actually. But yeah, good to think on these memories. Thank you for your question. All right, Super Wargamer says, have YouTube made you use the new loadout? I hate it, and lastly, I suppose you mean, lastly, what's your thoughts on it, and do you think it's better than the old one? Well, by loadout, I think you mean layout. And yes, they have made me use the new layout. For a time, I've resisted it for the longest period because I didn't like it to start. I was just like, oh, no. And there used to be an option at the side of the screen saying revert back to the old version of YouTube, which I would do time after time after time, many times, and they would say, why? And I never liked the fact that it would start playing your intro video every time. Now it only plays it the first time you go on there, but they fixed that, but I actually prefer it now. I've got to be honest. And you can go back to the old system just by clicking on Creator Studio or Edit Channel Layout. It will take you back to the way it used to look. So, and I do like the nighttime viewing mode, theme, whatever you want to call it, because obviously I watch a lot of YouTube over night time, and obviously bright lights interferes with doesn't help you get into sleep anyway, and I'm not sleeping because I'm in a bit of pain usually, but when that's subsided somewhat and I'll lay down, then you got the problem of your brain activity because you've been watching bright lights on the screen for so long, whereas the nighttime mode or the dark mode or whatever it's called, I can't remember now, lessens that somewhat. So I do actually prefer the new layout now, and I love the fact that you can edit each video there and then rather than having to trawl through trying to find it. How many pages back was it? If you've got over 1,000 videos or whatever, and you're trying to find a specific video, you think, oh yeah, I want to change the thumbnails on this and this. You got to find them. Whereas now you just click on the video and then click edit video, and it takes you straight to the editing screen, which it didn't do on the old one. So I prefer it. I prefer it now. So yes, I prefer it. Right. Next is Battles in a Shed, who says, wow, this is good. I love all these questions here. This is absolutely cool. This is what P&Q should be. I love these questions, so let's see if we can keep this going for a bit. This is good. Anyway, it says, question, what advice would you give to a YouTube channel in its first year? Wow, that's quite a generalistic question. And you're coming to me for advice. No, people ask me before, what would I advise? My advice would be, find your way first before you commit to things like schedules and things like that. Do the videos you think you want to make, then discover the videos you actually do enjoy making and want to make, and stick with those. Do what you enjoy doing. Gradually you'll expand and and whatever else. I mean, I can't. Feels like you're not asking me for advice on what equipment to get or what software to use. I mean, I think everybody finds their own way with that. Some people don't even bother editing videos, and that works for their particular style of channel. I found it depends on the individual. Find your style. Find a suitable catchphrase or something that people can remember you by. Gradually start to build up your brand, as it were, and then you can market yourself then with your logo, your catchphrase, and maybe music you use. I tend not to use a lot of music. I'll put a few snippets in here and there after the whole copyright scare a while back, but I make sure the stuff I use I've paid for, or it's free to use as a sort of public domain use. So yeah. So your first year, I would experiment with stuff. Use it as a period of experimentation. See what you like, what you don't like. make the video. Well, I make the videos I want to see, or the type of videos I should say. I make the type of videos I want to see. I like to see Q&As. I like to see chats. I like to see painting tutorials. I like to see, general rambles. I like to see car casts. And I like quirky, weird stuff like my Memory Lane series. I do stuff like that. Battle reports. Wow, you're coming on to that now. Right. Next question is, what is your favourite type of battle reports? Is it long form, generally around 60 minutes plus, where they show all the dice rolls, movement, etc., or short form, generally under 30 minutes, where they show the end of turn recap? Well, that's a question. I think that depends. For me personally, it depends on the game. For games like War Machine, Hordes, I prefer the end of turn recaps. Other games I think it suits as well, like other games I play like Congo. I think they suit those end of turn recaps better. I think, that's not right or wrong. When it comes to Warhammer, 40k in particular, I prefer the long battle reports where you get to see all the dice rolls and a little bit of banter, but depends for me on the personalities of the people doing it, how well they're doing it, because people will say generally, a lot of people, not everybody, so don't quote me on this, but a lot of people will say, battle reports, they're easy to do, but not a lot of people do them really well. I think to do them really well isn't easy, but unless they're done really well, I tend not to watch them. I watch very few battle reports. I know they're the most watched videos out there, but for me, I don't watch them a lot. I enjoy playing them. I can't say I hugely enjoy filming them or making them, though. I just haven't found my way with that yet. But to watch, I prefer the longer ones for games like 40k, but they got to be done well. Otherwise, I lose interest. I prefer a narrative one with a bit of a narrative story, and maybe even a cheesy intro, build up and that kind of thing. A little bit of the armies that are facing off, and that's how I prefer it. War Machine, now, to me, that's more like a complicated game of chess, so I prefer the end of turn recaps. It depends on the game. Right, great question. Battles in a Blue Shed. Okay. Next up is Capitan Morgan's War Games. He says, these types of videos are good. We get a good idea of what things people do and like. So, I've been doing this for like 3-4 years now, non-stop. And I still enjoy it. It's like one of my most favourite, it's in my top 3 favourite videos to make is my P&Q videos, which is a question and answer series. I enjoy, definitely P&Q, my On the Bench series, and currently my Memory Lane series, because I've got ideas for that. Well, it's toss up between that and Call of Cthulhu, because I've got ideas for both of those series and where I want to take them. So watch out for the future on those two. Anyway, I digress. Capitan Morgan's War Games says, so here's my 3-part question. 3-part question? I don't think I've ever had a 3-part question before in all the years I've been doing this. So it pleases me that you are the first, sir. It says, firstly, what TV or film and characters are your favourite, and what gaming system would you port them into? Oh, wow. I should have looked at these questions and studied them first. TV. That's tricky. I like, at the moment, I'm quite into Game of Thrones, and I like Tyrion Lannister and Jon Snow. 2 characters in that. Film characters. Oh, I don't know. I don't Don't watch a lot of films these days. We'll say Tyrion Lannister and Jon Snow for the first part of this question then. Right. What gaming system will I port them into? Well, Tyrion Lannister, I put him in... I'd put him in Warhammer 40k as an Inquisitor. I think he'd make an outstanding Inquisitor with his brain. Jon Snow, I'd put him in D&D. He'd be a ranger. Secondly, what is your all-time favourite book and fictional character from a book? And again, what system would you port them into? My all-time favourite book is Lord of the Rings. I know that's technically 3 books, but Lord of the Rings is my favourite book. My favourite character from that is Gandalf. What system would I port them into? D&D again, I suppose. Gandalf would be the ultimate wizard, wouldn't he? Mage. Last bit, what faction, race, or whatever would these characters represent in the system you ported them into? Well, Tyrion would be a ratling or a squat or something. But I'd still make him an Inquisitor because he's just awesome. Jon Snow, he'd be a human, fighter, ranger. Gandalf, well, he's not human. I don't know what race he'd be in D&D. Wow, that's such an intense question. Wow, that's brilliant. But yeah, that's all I got for that one. Thank you very much. We have Capitan Morgan's Wargames again with another question. To seeing your Citadel paint chart, what is your favourite paint scheme? I suppose blues and reds are my favourite go-tos. I struggle a bit with greens. I don't mind yellows and whites, and those cliche ones, but I think blues and reds are my ultimate favourites. Don't mind greys. Do you follow the suggestions on the box, or do you choose your own scheme? Say like a pink or blue, purple themed army. Well, I've evolved when it comes to that. I always used to go with box art all the time, without fail. Now I'm evolving with that, and it depends on the game as well. I like to try something from the box art at least once or twice, and if I like it, then I tend to stick with that. But I have done my own schemes. I've got my own Space Marine chapter, which are browns, has brown themes, brown and blue. Yeah, I've evolved, and I'm continuing to evolve with that. My War Machine, the last lot of War Machine I painted, I stuck to the box art exactly, I think. But now, that was a couple of years back, so that was Signar. But now I'm, I'll look at the box art, and if I like, I'll take some elements of it. I think, yeah, I like the way he's done the reds there, or the blues there. But I think this would work best with a metallic here, or something like that, or leather, or whatever it may be. So yeah, I'm definitely evolving when it comes to that. When it comes to miniatures, that there is no box art, so I just make up my own thing anyway for those, or Reaper miniatures and stuff like that. Although some of them have images, but like this Chronoscope one here, I won't even bother looking at a picture. I'll just go straight in, and I have an image already in my head what I want him to look like. So yeah, that's great questions, Capitan Morgan's Wargames. Thank you. Okay, and the last one is from Who Took My Dice Miniature Wargaming. He says, "Hello, my lord." Hello. Heard you needed some questions. Well, yes, I did. But this is amazing. Love it. He says, well, I'm on the hunt for answers, so here we go. 1. What is your feeling on the importance of the meta in Warhammer 40k? The importance of the meta is huge. That's what builds the excitement and the anticipation and the want to play for me. Although, to be honest, because I don't play an awful lot. I mean, I do play, and I'm hoping to play You Know Who You Are person. I can't say your name, but I know you're watching. I'm hoping we'll be playing soon. So yeah, hoping for a game soon. Yeah, although I don't get to play a lot, I do hugely enjoy the meta game. And yes, I've been known to build armies, lists, and 2 lists, and picture them against one another. And I think I've still got them somewhere. Lists of armies I've constructed, thinking that would make a good matchup with this. And one day I will see these to fruition in actual models on the table. Yeah, I think the meta is phenomenal for me. It's very exciting. I think in some ways I prefer the meta game to the actual physical game. Because on paper things look vastly different, do they not, to how they transpire in real life. So yeah, I love the meta game. I think it's hugely important, not just for me, but for a lot of people. Okay, number 2. What do you think will be the next big tabletop war game? What do you think the next big tabletop war game will be? I have no idea, sir. Why big? What do you mean? I mean, I think a lot of the historical games are huge. Whether you mean another fictional based game, I don't know. I mean, after Games Workshop and Warhammer, there's a big gap, as it were. I think when it comes right down to the next games. I don't know if that'd be like War Machine or whatever. Excuse me. Sorry. For those of you that don't know, I have MS and I get tired really quickly, and I yawn a lot. So apologies for that. Where was I? Yes. I think a lot of games these days come out on Kickstarter, but it's difficult to say what the next big game will be. If I could predict that, I could probably set up my own business doing it, but wouldn't like to say. I mean, and I wouldn't even like to say War Machine or Hordes, because it is where it is, and it's not changing. I don't think these sport type games will be as big as the battle orientated games, games like Blood Bowl and Guild Ball, and that kind of thing. Although they are fantastic games, I think they're absolutely brilliant. And I don't think skirmish games will ever be as big as the likes of Warhammer. And War Machine is kind of like an exaggerated skirmish game, really. I understand why skirmish games are popular. Less space required, less models to buy and paint, easier setup, less time to set up, less time to play. It's all got its advantages, but sometimes you just want to lay out a huge table and just go at it. I know I do. Okay, right, last part then, here we go. Anyway, you could get me an interview with the Department of Silly Walks. I really think I have an awesome silly walk and need some funding to really make it pop. Well, sir, you need to pop your silly walk onto a CV, a video CV. Make a video of your silly walk and show us. Then we might talk and do business. Who knows? Yeah. Okay, so that is it. But wow, all these questions and comments, that's been absolutely brilliant. I don't think there's been questions, of that many questions since the days Mrs. Mini Warzone did a P&Q back on episode 100. Yeah, so check it out. That was a while ago now, but yeah, thank you so much. If you're new to P&Q, and you want to ask more questions, the way it happens is you pop your comment or question down below, and I don't respond to you there usually. I'll just tick the like, the thumbs up thing, just to show you that I've got your question and I've acknowledged it, and it should print out, on here, for when I read out the questions. So yeah, that's how it works. But please, love these questions, and some of them very thought-provoking. I loved it, absolutely loved it. So keep them coming, and I'll keep answering. Thank you. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this. I've got a busy day ahead of me now. So remember, all brushes lead to war, and bye for now. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.